And we are back. Welcome to another episode of Business Focus Live with me, John, where we talk about business related topics as well as news from here and around the world. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe. Let's get started. And we're back. Thank you again for joining me today. So, I've been for about a week due to personal things that I have to attend to. And you may have noticed it's a Saturday. What am I doing during the live? Now focusing on its live service games, which is, leveraging on the popularity of, multimedia, not multimedia, but in a multiplayer component in games. And obviously, in multiplayer component, you can not just offer tremendous games for gamers, but you can make that extra buck by offering them skins or microtransactions to your customers or gamers here. So we'll talk about that. Next is we'll be talking about how a country like Taiwan is partnering with Nokia with regards to growing their telecommunications from 5G to 6G, which I was surprised to find out that Nokia is still in the game after all these years. So we'll discuss that. Next is a TV series that was following at the start of its integration is now continuing with its season 4, and who are the main characters will be interesting here. I'm talking about True Detective here, so stay tuned for that one. Next is to be on a list or any list could be good and bad, and in this case you don't want to be in one of the worst airports in the world, so we'll talk about that. Who or where are we talking about here? Maybe you have a general idea already what I'm talking about, but we'll discuss that in a bit. And lastly, we'll be talking about, businesses could come from any realm or any places, right? As long as you find an opportunity, there's a demand for your products or services, then people will pay a plenty, and not just pay a plenty, but pay a hefty sum. So what am I talking about? Stay tuned for that one. What I meant on that one. Anyway, without further ado, the first one as mentioned, we're talking about here Sony, the big conglomerate giant, in particular Sony Entertainment, which is popular for its Sony PlayStation console, is going all in their live service games. Now, whether that's good or bad, well, you could look at that anyways. Apart from buying the game Bungie, let's see, what is Bungie known for? I forgot which game they produced. Okay. Yes. So how can I forget? Obviously, I don't play their games. That's why I'm not familiar. They're known for producing, multiplayer games such as Destiny. You have Halo, Marathon early in the 90s. So, they're very popular in that genre, and obviously being acquired by Sony, which is a main competitor of Microsoft, is of tremendous value to them. And obviously, knowing the rise of popularity of multiplayer games, they're trying to leverage that and take advantage of that situation here. Anyway, so let's take a closer look on the article here. According to TechCrunch.com, after buying Bungie, the game developer, Sony is all in on the live service game. So meaning they're hedging that moving forward, the live service game is going to be popular in the foreseeable future, which I tend to agree. But my only concern is in terms of, it used to be when you pay for a game, pay for the full price of the game, and then you get to enjoy to your heart's content. But now they're trying to find ways to milk every possible ways to get you to spend more and more to make that to make that extra buck. And for me, if it provides a tremendous experience, then so go for it, right? Better value for gamers. But many of the games nowadays is instead of going to the typical gameplay aspect, which is the whole point of playing a game, they want you to pay to win in terms of being able to sort of enjoy the game. Now, obviously, they're they can encourage you or discourage you with those strategies here. But anyway, we'll see in the end if it's going to pan out for Sony or any publisher or even gaming company that's focusing on live services here. Now, not all games have worked out because obviously focusing too much on maximizing revenue can be if it has a detrimental effect on the actual gameplay, then why would people play it in the first place? And you've seen in the Diablo debacle that's been reported lately because of the microtransactions. Even Halo is not immune to that. And you can see the different lists on and on. Even if you look at Fallout 76, it's another concerning issue there. But we'll not talk about that. We're talking about Sony here. Anyway, going back here. So imagine here, so Sony is moving fast to integrate the company's expertise into its broader vision, which is good, obviously, as a company is expanding. So according to Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO Jim Ryan outlined a near future for a company that focuses heavily on continually updating online game inspired by Destiny Bungie's long-running hit. Now, I have no problem with this strategy as long as they provide tremendous games, provide tremendous value, they should go for it. But my only concern is delving away or shifting away from the core concept of actually why people play games is to enjoy the game themselves rather than focus too much. And there have been many games, currently you have Spider-Man, even Elden Ring, that doesn't provide any microtransactions. They let you just play the game to your heart's content, and it if people enjoy it, people will buy it over and over, not just in one particular console or platform, but in multiple platforms as well. Now, it mentions that the company declined to answer questions from TechCrunch about which of its franchise might get the live service treatment. Now, if they did that on God of War, that would be terrible. Even for Horizon Forbidden West, or even Spider-Man, because obviously those are some of the popular franchises that doesn't focus on live service right now, and kind of concerned if they were to shift on that strategy here in the future. And you also have Last of Us and Uncharted. It's a list of noteworthy single player first party titles, which obviously is owned by Naughty Dog. So question here is there a medium ground for people to play single player titles and multiplayer? I think there should be options for gamers to play. I tend to stay away from multiplayer. I mean, I played some of it in the past, but my forte is more on single player RPG type of game. Maybe I'll play sometimes sports, but if it's EA produced, I tend to shy away from that anyway. So again, for consumers or gamers to play different types of game, they should have the flexibility to be able to what do you call this? To be able to choose what type of games they want to play. Now, what's interesting is Bungie is initially was attached with Microsoft for developing Halo here. Now, what's interesting here is they've already split with Microsoft, and Bungie signed a 10-year partnership with Activision. And the company eventually split with Activision too, paving way for Sony to snap up or acquire the company for the sum of 3.6 billion. So it's not cheap. So obviously, if you're Sony here, you're trying to milk for every centavos worth of the company or the games that they're providing so that they can recoup their investment. Now, will that provide value for the gamers themselves? We'll have to wait and see here. Anyway, so next is we'll be talking about how Taiwan, the country, is partnering with a, I won't say least likely, but a surprising company that's still in the market in terms of not providing smartphone devices, but providing telecoms communication support in the case of Nokia here. So providing 5G technology, and speaking of 5G technology, how I wish we can have stable internet here in our country, because that's always the case here, and we're stuck with the limited service providers that we have, and they charge a pretty hefty amount and not providing superior service here. But anyway, it's neither here or there. Anyway, going back. So according to techtimes.com, so Taiwan Mobile is selecting Nokia to provide support for 5G technology, and obviously, as we move towards the future years and decades ahead, the technology for internet service has been improving significantly from the old days of using 2G and 3G, now 4G, or going to 5G, and all the way to, whatever is in the future, 6G and beyond, providing us better and faster connectivity, so that the connection worldwide would be seamless, and obviously everyone could enjoy or benefit from that offering here. Anyway, so Taiwan Mobile, TWM, is preparing to improve its 5G coverage for users, according to the latest report, and have chosen Nokia as its partner company here. So it eyes to utilize renewable energy for its operation in the next decade. So it's pretty significant. Remember the good old days when your screen is so small and you have an actual QWERTY keypad that you actually use. This is more akin to what BlackBerry was offering way back in the early 90s. Anyway, it mentions here, so TWM is considered one of the longest running telecommunications in Taiwan. So they started way back in the late 1990s to roll services related to mobile, broadband, and so forth. So obviously, with technology, you have to keep up. Otherwise, other companies can swoop in and take your market share here. So bringing in the next gen technology is important to customers, and obviously the appetite for consumers for using connectivity at a faster rate is even more important nowadays. And obviously, gone are the days where high definition video is sufficient. You want 1080p, 2K resolution, 4K, or even 8K in the future here. And obviously, the higher the fidelity here, the higher the bandwidth that is required to be able to provide those videos, so to speak here. So TWM has sought the help of Nokia bringing advanced 5G technology to their country, as mentioned. Uh, wait, or what? So the company wants to follow 5G guidelines from GSEA, Group GIF, and other markets, as mentioned. So the latest partnership took place between Taiwan Mobile and Nokia. This has been a successful collaboration so far. So for those who are not familiar, Nokia is a Finnish-based company which was known in the early 90s was makers of the smartphone, even before Samsung or even Apple came into the picture here. But sad to say, they did not innovate, which they should have considered that. They were left behind here. But still, they have this telecommunications branch in their company that's able to make them still relevant in this case. So providing connectivity to different nations, using providing infrastructure and services is critical here. So Nokia will handle improvements for the spectrum assets of TWM, as mentioned, such as the 700 megahertz and 2100 bandwidth. So the company will contribute to the modernization of the LTE infrastructure and of its operation. Speaking of 5G standalone core, Nokia will be assigned to provide the much needed 5G development for businesses and deployments. So obviously, providing 5G technology for the market is not only beneficial for individual users, also for businesses as well. So Nokia will also provide airframe server hardware along with voice over new radio, or VONR, and IMS, voice core capacity expansion. So meaning obviously as you improve the technology, you can offer more services, better services, connectivity with people nationwide or even worldwide here. So the next question people would be wondering is, when would 6G be coming? Well, for other developed countries, obviously 6G is the right course of the direction, but for us, I want us to have a very stable, reliable services here. I mean, let alone think of getting 5G or even 6G sometime in the future here, but we'll see. Hopefully, we can get different partners to establish it, because we need more players so that existing players now in our market here are lagging behind with our counterparts in our ASEAN countries here as well. Anyway, so hoping for the best. We'll see. Anyway, next is we'll talk about entertainment, which is very interesting, which caught my attention when I was reading this article. In terms of, obviously, there are many TV series out there. Some are interesting, some are less interesting. And one of the more interesting that caught my attention is the TV series True Detective. And I was able to catch the first series of this one, actually the first and second season of this one. But the first one was kind of memorable, obviously the unique presentation of how they convey the story, and obviously the protagonist in this case, the actor Woody Harrelson, as well as Matthew McConaughey. So how they presented the story and how it was portrayed throughout the season was very compelling. Now, the start of the story was pretty slow, but it's been building up all the way to the end of the season, which is, I enjoyed watching it tremendously, and it's, the content is for mature audiences, obviously, but if you like very engaging story plots, you've come to the right place. Now, after the succeeding seasons, I didn't bother watching it because it depends on the story and on the cast as well. Anyway, so good news for True Detective fans. According to TechRadar.com, they mentioned that a season 4 is in production and an Oscar winner is on board for the next series here. And the new protagonist in this case they're talking about is Oscar winner. Uh, what's her name again? From The Silence of the Lambs. I forgot. Uh, what was her name again? Jodie Foster. I forgot her name. What am I doing? Anyway, so obviously getting a compelling character or actor or actress to portray the protagonist role is important, apart from the role or the story itself here, and it's going to be interesting here. So just to go on an overview, the show has run for 3 seasons thus far, starting way back in 2014. So it has been on and off here. So True Detective is an anthology of each of the 3 seasons, featuring different cast and characters as mentioned. So the first one was very compelling. The second one is okay. I think that was, what's his name? Crap, I forgot. Keep forgetting names nowadays. But the second one is not that bad, but I didn't like the story better than the first one. What's his name? Crap, let me see. Uh I think the third season, Marshala Ali. I didn't watch that last season here. Let me check who's the True Detective. What's the detective cast? Ah, yeah, it was Colin Farrell, the other one, and you had Vince Vaughn. I think that those are the main protagonists in season 2, and it was okay. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't as compelling as the first season, where Woody Harrelson's character and Matthew McConaughey, how they collaborated, was pretty interesting there. And the question is, will it be a hit just because Jodie Foster is attached to the series? I think at the end of the day, it's all about the story, how you progress it. I think one of the series I enjoyed also from a different network is the Jack Reacher series, which is, they made the character based on the book more believable rather than what Tom Cruise was portraying, because Jack Reacher in the book doesn't approximate nowhere close to what the actual persona of that person was to be, until the TV series was created here. And hopefully, it would do well, and if people, got interested or like the story, they make it compelling, not like how they destroyed the Game of Thrones franchise. Well, I think HBO would have another hit here, so we'll see here. Anyway, next is, as I've mentioned, being on certain lists is never good, and in this case, the list of worst airports in the world. Well, sad to say, our country here in the Philippines, the NAIA's airport for international air flights has been tagged as the worst business class airport in the world, which is never good. And what led to that? Well, obviously, not uh, not preparing, but not creating an infrastructure that's conducive for business travelers who are traveling to and from the country. Obviously, if you're a business traveler, you're here to engage in business. You want the transaction to be fast, efficient, so that you can come in and then get out quickly. Now, obviously, with the consideration of the pandemic, obviously protocols is important to be laid in place. And if vaccination is the protocols, or maybe you need to get boosted, you need documentation and so forth to relay that. And obviously, the facility for business travelers, the lounge area is a very important part because you're paying a premium for the service, so you expect premium experience when you visit a particular country here. And let's see further what was the cause why NAIA was tagged the worst here. Anyway, according to philstar.com, so uh, and that's compared to the world. So it's not just in terms of ASEAN nation, but the entire uh, world here. So the NAIA, meaning the Ninoy Aquino International Airport, was called the worst business class airport in the world. So it has the lowest overall score in a recent study, which is never good. So this is according to the worldwide luggage storage app Bounce, which ranked top airports for business class travel in the world. So based on factors as lounges as mentioned, then number of destinations served. So obviously, Manila is a hub that connects to the uh, southern parts of the Philippines, going to Cebu or even going to Davao here. But obviously, they could connect if you came from the United States, going to the Philippines, so that you can connect whether going to other ASEAN countries, how easy or difficult it is to connect can be a consideration. And then obviously, this I understand why we got a low rating. Percentage of on-time flights and airport rating. So obviously, time management, organization is important, so that if people are delayed, flights should still continue. Meaning you don't have to wait for people. It's not like like our public transport in jeepney, that they are waiting for people to fill in the seats before they move. In airplane, obviously time is gold, and you paid ahead of time for the fare. So if don't arrive early, you miss the flight, then you pay again. But for some reason, our services, our processes is not getting the job done, and which causing a lot of delays. And obviously, getting delayed is one thing, and another issue that many travelers can experience is losing of baggage, sorry, of luggage is another concern here. And again, how they process or transferring of luggage. Imagine if you have to do a transfer of flight. So you do a stopover in NAIA, and then your baggage gets lost along the way, and then by the time you reach your destination, where's your luggage? You can't even find it. And again, so it's a plethora of issues that doesn't bode well for our rating here. Now, what's interesting, the Philippines is mentioned as the main getaway for the Philippines, as mentioned. Uh, finished with the worst rating according to three different categories. So first is destination, on-time performance, and rating. So obviously, we need to do a better job with that. Well, hopefully with the new incoming government, Mr. Bongbong Marcos can assign someone in our tourism industry in particular for who's assigned or in charge of our airport, could do a much better job than the previous administration were not able to accomplish. And uh, it was mentioned in the NAIA was assigned a rating based on 14 lounges, 101 destinations served, 60%, not good, 59.6% of on time flights annually. So that's never good. And the airport rating of 3 out of 5 from Skytrax, which were good for overall score of 0.88. Wow, that's bad. That's less than 1 out of 10, meaning, compared to, let's say, to our neighboring country in Singapore, which is one of the highest rated airports in the world. I think we need to do a better job out of that. Uh, just to put some context, UK's Gatwick Airport, which is the second worst airport in the world, which averaged 1.82 out of 10. So we did miserably. So, we need to do a better job if we want to attract more visitors or tourists to travel in our country. Make it easier. And obviously, if the people in your country is not having a tremendous experience, what more for foreigners traveling to and from our country here? So, we need a lot of improvement, and it has to be quicker rather than later. Anyway, lastly, again, so when I found this article, I found it very interesting in terms of, businesses come from different places, right? You look for opportunities here. Now, I didn't thought that people would come up or conjure up this kind of idea, and I seem to see a pattern here, and many of the unique businesses that they can come up with all comes from the land of the rising sun in Japan in particular. And what am I talking about? uh, Buying a costume, a life-size costume of a dog, and it's lifelike. It looks real, kind of weird, and costs nearly $16,000. Now, is it a necessity? Hey, if people are willing to buy it for whatever purposes, then go right ahead. Anyway, what am I talking about? So, according to the article here at insiders.com, as mentioned, a Japanese man pays nearly $16,000. Whew, that's a lot of money. And if you look at the photo, it looks lifelike. I don't know if it's an actual. I don't think it's an actual dog, but the way it looks, it looks lifelike. And it looks weirder, as I will show you the latter part of the article. So being able to transform into an animal, now who would do that? I don't know, but let's take a closer look here. Anyway, so you can see, all four paws, and from the onset you would think that it's an actual live dog, but it isn't. It's an actual costume here. So what's interesting, a person enlisted a company to make costumes for TV to create a fur suit resembling a rough collie. So the man now creates YouTube videos wearing fur suits and frolicking around on all fours. Kind of weird. Anyway, so a Japanese person spent more than $15,000 to fulfill his dream of transforming into a four-legged animal. So how lifelike? So you can see here in this photo. So it really looks real. So you would think that it's an actual dog, but it isn't. So that's an actual person inside it. So it's not a dog a regular pet that you own. And what is interesting, the video garnered a 1.7 million views, because obviously people are curious, is that really a dog? Or is that really a person inside of a dog? So, it created a lot of commotion, a lot of curiosity, which is, it's fine, but is there really a market for that one? And if you were to look closely, so you can see here, the resemblance looks lifelike from when it's sitting down to standing up. Obviously the design of the fur makes a compelling case here to make it real lifelike here. But you know is it something that any normal sane person would do? I don't know. I would, but if people are willing to buy it, go right ahead here. And it goes on to mention here, Taco has also a YouTube channel which he documents, snippets of his life using the fur costume as mentioned here. So in the channel description, he wrote, "I wanted to be an animal, so I became a collie." Kind of, it looks weird. It doesn't look natural, but hey, if it gets a lot of views, let me show you here the video. So if you see the movement, obviously it's not approximating an actual dog's movement, but it looks, if you take a photo, it looks real, but if it starts moving, it breaks the immersion here. But I don't know, why would you put your head inside the head of a dog? It's kind of odd, but you know hey, if he's trying to get notoriety, I think he's doing a tremendous job here. But I don't know. I would recommend it for other people, and I don't know. Your sanity will be put into questions here. But I think if it's for fun, to help kids, or not scare kids, hopefully not to scare kids here. Now, the company who made this fur is a company called Zepet, ZEPPET. So posted their details about the costume on their website. So the company is known for creating models and movie sculptures primarily for television and film. So why would they create this costume? Who knows? Did they make a lot of money of it? Of course they did, because they had to pay $16,000. That's how much? It's a lot of money. Woo! Close to half a million pesos. I don't know if it's worth it, but that's business. As long as there's demand, you supply it, you make tons of money out of it. Anyway, I think that concludes our discussion for today. Anyway, if you find the discussion interesting, don't forget to continue supporting the channel. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. We're trying to get close to 1,000 subscribers here. And for those new subscribers and the current one, thank you for continuing supporting our channel here. As always, if you're interested in checking out the full article, I'll leave the link in the description below. And you can leave your comments if you have any questions or want to share your own experience with regards to different topics that we, especially the last one here. Anyway, as always, I'll see you again next week. Hopefully, we can have the same time schedule again on Friday. Okay? Anyway, that's it for now. Take care. See you in the next one.